All right, come at the man, they say, and so did Joss Butler and Alex Hales come to the party. Dominating performance there from the English batsmen. At one stage, it looked like even if India got to a total like 200, probably wouldn't have been enough with the way the English batsmen were batting. That's the kind of template that England have been playing with. Remember, they're also the 50-over world champions because they've set this template in international cricket that no matter what the situation, you have to go hammer and tongs, and they've stayed true to that template, which is why, as I said, they're 50-over world champions and now in the final of a T20 World Cup. Sunny Gavaskar joins us live on the program. We'll try and look for reasons where India may have faltered, what really went wrong with India, and not just this in semi-final, but even if you look back at the last T20 World Cup, India failed to get past that group stage. Sunny bhai, I'm just looking at various knockout matches for India. It happened in the 2015 World Cup. In the semi-final, you lost to Australia right here in Australia. 2019, it was that one bad day, everyone said, versus New Zealand. You lost it there. It's happened now a few times in the T20 World Cups. The only time you won that T20 World Cup, 2007. It's happening at an alarming consistency. India faltering when it comes to the knockout stage. Should Indian fans be worried? Is there a problem there?
Look, I think sometimes, teams can play well at the group stage, but when it comes to the knockout stage, the pressure is that much more, simply because you know that there is not going to be another game if you don't do well in that particular game. And that can maybe be a kind of a negative way to enter the match. I just think that today England was just vastly superior to India, both in the bowling as well as the batting. I mean, batting 170 for no loss actually tells you how good England were today in chasing that target. And they got it in 16 overs as well, with 4 overs to spare.
Just looking at this specific match, Sunny bhai, where do you think the match was lost by India? Was it in that batting power play initially that you weren't aggressive enough? Was it later in the bowling power play you didn't pick up those early wickets? Or was it those middle overs by the Indian spinners? Where do you think the match was lost?
I would imagine that allowing the England spinners 7 overs, Adil Rashid and Livingston to bowl 7 overs for 41 runs. That is less than 6 runs an over for spinners. For a subcontinent team that is supposed to be very good at playing against spin. I'm not saying that they should have been only hitting sixes, but the fact that they weren't even knocking them around is probably where India might have been about 20-30 runs short.
Overall, if we were to look at India's approach in T20 cricket, we heard from Rohit Sharma before they came for the T20 World Cup. Listen, we're going to be changing this template. We're going to bat like no matter the score is 3 for 30 or 3 for 100, whatever be the situation, we're going to bat aggressively. We didn't see that from the Indian team. They were still playing very safe. What do you make of India's approach? Is it outdated now in T20 cricket?
It's not outdated. It is at every this thing. It is a question of shot selection. If the shot selection is not correct, you're going to get out. In the first 6 overs, you need to take the risks, but you need to take the risks smartly. Look at the way England did it. England did it very, very smartly. They were playing the cover drives for boundaries. When Butler played started the chase with 12 runs in the over. Then there was Alex Hales moving away and then hitting it with, because it was a slower delivery, hitting it in a safe manner. They were not just wildly swinging. And that is the important thing. If you look at what India has been failing to do, is that they're wildly swinging. It's almost like a premeditated shot, and which is the reason they have not been able to get the kind of start that is so essential in the T20 format.
Plenty of senior players, maybe in the twilight of their career right now. They may continue to play the longer format of the game. I'm going to specifically talk to you about the likes of Virat Kohli. He had an outstanding tournament, but do you see him playing the next World Cup? Rohit Sharma, he's the captain. Do you see him playing the next World Cup? Then there's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Ravichandran Ashwin. Plenty names come to your mind. Yes, some of them have had good tournaments. What do you do? Do you continue with them, considering that they're in good form, some of them? Or do you say, no, the next World Cup is 2 years away and let's start rebuilding now?
Well, no, because the openers, never really got off to a start. Rahul got 2 half centuries. Rohit Sharma just had 1 half century. So clearly, I think, because the openers were not able to give the team the kind of start, it was just that little bit more difficult.
Okay, listening to Rahul Dravid there, the Indian coach, he's made his stand pretty clear when it comes to the seniors. Should they continue or should you look at youngsters? Rahul Dravid saying that maybe now is not the time to answer that question. Maybe they need some time to reflect, come back to India, then take stock of the situation and then take a call what's best for Indian cricket. Sunny Gavaskar is still with us and I'll take that question to Saibhai. Saibhai, I spoke to you earlier. You said that, it's a personal decision whether Rohit, Virat, Ashwin, Bhuvneshwar, all these names that I mentioned, whether they want to continue or not. And that's a fair point. That's an individual decision that they will take. But let's take a look at from Indian cricket's point of view, because it's a decision that Indian cricket also needs to take. It's a decision that Indian selectors also need to take. Looking at it from the point of Indian cricket, what do you think is the right way? Should you continue with some of these senior players or no? Now is the time to see that change.
I think it has got to be a mix. It's got to be a mix of youth and experience, because that's always the best way, because the youth can learn from the experience. Look at the way Arshdeep has learned over the last couple of months, not just in this tournament, earlier on also when he was part of the Indian team, sitting with a Jasprit Bumrah, sitting with a Mohammad Shami, sitting with a Bhuvneshwar Kumar, learning the craft, learning when to bowl at what stage. These are things where the experience can help the youngsters to come through.
Okay, fair point, Saima. Meanwhile, solve this mystery for me. Solve this mystery that how is it that Yuzi Chahal, who is a certified wicket taker in this T20 format, just take out the stats from the previous T20 World Cups, compare his stats, let's say, to Ravichandran Ashwin. Season after season, Yuzi Chahal is in the top wicket takers in the IPL. So just solve this mystery for me. How is it that one of the most standout spin bowlers in this format across the globe, not just in India, doesn't play 2 back-to-back T20 World Cups? Last time around, he wasn't even in the squad. This time gets selected in the squad, doesn't get a single game.
I thought that maybe he should have been played against Netherlands, because that is where, when you know that some teams are uncomfortable against wrist spin bowling, you give that wrist spinner just a little bit of an opportunity. Once the tournament went down to 4 and 5 matches and he wasn't playing, it was very difficult for him to find a place, because it's not easy for a wrist spinner to be able to bowl the lines and the lengths that he wants, where he can take wickets and also stop the runs. So maybe if he had played against, say, Zimbabwe, if he had played against Netherlands, that certainly would have given him an opportunity to maybe play in the semi-finals.
Okay, fair point Sunny Gavaskar makes there, that maybe it was too late to bring Yuzi Chahal straight into a semi-final. That's a point well taken. But then the question really needs to be asked, as in, why is it that he wasn't played earlier? Why wasn't he in the scheme of things with the Indian team? What's really surprising now is that Yuzi Chahal is part of that Indian T20 setup through the year. And then when it comes to the T20 World Cup, just a month before, somebody else is, airdropped into the Indian team. And slowly and gradually, that spinner goes on to become a regular member of the 11. And slowly, Yuzi Chahal is pushed out of the 11, despite the fact that he continues to pick wicket in those middle overs. And that's an area, if you watch the game closely today, that's an area where India were found wanting. Couldn't pick those wickets in the middle over. Okay, Saiba, just looking at two captains. And why do I say two captains? Because one is the current captain, that is Rohit Sharma. The other is your vice captain, KL Rahul, also perceived to be the future captain. Now, there is a growing criticism about both of them that, yes, good batsmen, immensely talented, have achieved a lot in their career. But when it comes to crunch game, when it comes to crucial games, they don't fire. Is that criticism fair?
No, I don't think it is fair, because look, not everybody can succeed in this game. Never in the history of this wonderful game of ours have all 11 players succeeded. They fail at some time, so you can't say that in the knockouts they failed, but they have scored in the other. I don't think you should look at it like that. You've got to look at the overall performance.
Okay, Sunny Gavaskar is still with us. Sai bhai, I don't know how long, because Rahul Dravid was asked about Rohit Sharma's future in T20 cricket. I don't know whether Rohit himself wants to continue. I don't know whether BCCI has different plans. We're getting a few indications because the team that's going to New Zealand is a youngish team, but I don't know whether that is because senior players have asked for rest or whether the BCCI already started thinking and looking into the future by sending a young team. But if I were to ask you, sooner or later, you'll have to look at a new captain. Rohit isn't getting any younger. Who do you think is the ideal candidate to take this T20 cricket forward for the Indian team?
I think in a way that has started with Hardik Pandya captaining the team to New Zealand a few days from now. Next week, I think this Indian team will go under Hardik Pandya. So maybe these are the signs of what the selection committee has in their mind.
Hardik Pandya sure is that one name that a lot of people are talking about. KL Rahul was the vice captain, but KL Rahul also hasn't stepped up to the plate. Whether he is the right choice, that is something that the BCCI folks would have to think about. But right now, plenty of problems for the Indian team. A lot of areas that they would need to address. But you must also remember, India has a big talent pool, all thanks to the IPL. You get to see a lot of rising young stars. If I were to ask you, have you seen a few young stars that India can invest in T20 cricket especially?
Not straight away, because right now the mind is still, with the fact that India has not made it to the finals. So the mind is still trying to analyze what happened, why we didn't score maybe 190, 200. These kind of things are at the moment still going through the mind. So I can't think of names, but surely I think the IPL, which will happen in March, April, May, will give you a few more pointers as to who the youngsters could be.
Okay, Harbhajan Singh also joins us live on the program. But before I go to Harbhajan, my final question to Sunny Gavaskar, we'll let him go because it's close to 1 a.m. here in Adelaide, and he's had a very, very long day. Sai, final question to you, and this has nothing to do with India's loss per se. I'm looking at England's victory. Now that final is between England and Pakistan. It's actually a repeat of that 1992 World Cup final that happened here in Australia. The same two teams played. Who do you think now is the favorite in that final?
देखिए, जो पावर प्ले जीतता है, दोनों पावर प्ले जीतता है, वो टीम आगे जाकर मैच जीतती है. हमने देखा कि इंग्लैंड ने जब बैटिंग पावर प्ले चल रहा था, इंडिया का बैटिंग पावर प्ले चल रहा था, वहाँ पे तो अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस की भारतीय टीम ने सिर्फ 33 रन पर कुछ बनाए थे, और इंग्लैंड ने उनकी बैटिंग पावर प्ले आई तो उन्होंने 60 के ऊपर रन बनाए.
Okay, Sai, thank you so much for joining us on this live broadcast. We've got Harbhajan Singh now. Harbhajan, you missed out on that previous discussion that we were having with Sunny Gavaskar. So I'll start with you from scratch. Let's take a macro look at this loss. I mean, India have now come very close to either lifting an ICC trophy or even reaching the final or getting knocked out in the semi-final. So mostly they've been playing these knockout games, but the results haven't gone according to plan. Is there an issue there? Why is it that India have not been able to put their best foot forward when it comes to crunch game in the recent past?
Well, it's very hard for me to digest the fact that Team India is not there in the final because it seems they had everything, in their team in terms of batting, bowling, and I was actually feeling, matches in Adelaide, this pitch will suit more to Indians than the English batters, but that didn't happen. Of course, there's a lot to look at it, and if we put that micro thing on, there'll be a lot of areas of concern where Team India have actually lost the game. I think first 10 to 12 overs of India's batting was not properly up to the mark. It was, kind of a scene where, it looked like that Team India is playing a 50 over kind of a match, and it was impossible from that situation to get to 180, 190, which was possibly the score, winning score in Adelaide, and they failed to to get there, because first 12 overs were like there was hardly any intent by any batters that they wanted to get to that 180, 190 kind of a mark. Credit to Hardik Pandya, he played that brilliant inning, to put respective runs on the board. But yes, I think still 20 runs short. But if you have another 20 runs, they have won convincingly. They could have got another 20 as well, the way they have batted. I think credit to England. They played outstanding cricket, not just in batting, but they outplayed us in bowling also. Their spinner bowled better than us. Their seamers, they bowled better than us. I think, they were a better team. Simple as that.
You make a very interesting point, Harbhajan, about India batting in a 20-over game like they're playing a 50-over game. Now this is something that's not new. This is something that was spoken about the last time they were knocked out in round 1 of a T20 World Cup. After that, you had a new captain. We heard from Rohit Sharma. We heard from Rahul Dravid, the new management. And they said, listen, we're trying to change the template of how we play T20 cricket because we have the T20 World Cup in mind that is going to be played in Australia. And then we saw in a few bilateral series that approach kind of changed, where they said, even if you're 30 for 3, we're going to still continue to attack. However, once you reach here at the T20 World Cup, that approach suddenly changes. Why do you think that is happening? Is there fear of failure that's causing this?
See, I don't know what are the reasons. To be honest, if they wanted to play that brand of cricket, we didn't see that from the game one itself. I understand early on pitches in Australia were a bit more spicy and had more bounce. Of course, but this pitch, I think you could have played far better cricket than what we have seen. I think that template was only in the air. We haven't seen any action on it. I haven't seen, apart from Surya Kumar Yadav and Hardik Pandya, yes, Virat Kohli have scored a lot of runs in this World Cup. But yes, I think the only template the kind of template you're talking about, we have seen. With that temperament, Virat Kohli and Hardik Pandya and Surya Kumar Yadav, they played with that sort of temperament. But otherwise, all the other guys, they were like playing 50-over game.
Harbhajan, I know that, a lot of people might say that, listen, it was that one game. And as you point out, England played very well. And people will say, okay, one game India lost, heavens haven't fallen. But would you say that India probably weren't as good in this tournament right from the beginning? Had it not been for Surya Kumar Yadav and some of those outstanding knocks he's played, or that one, blinder that Virat Kohli played in that game against Pakistan, which seemed to be miraculous at that time, had it not been for those one or two standout performances, India was still found wanting in most areas throughout this tournament.
I mean, you're talking about this tournament. What happened in the Asia Cup, where only 3 strong teams were playing with each other.
Yeah.
Sri Lanka, yes, they're emerging, and Pakistan is a good team. We know that on their day they can beat anyone, and there also Indian team didn't qualify for the finals, and here now we are talking about in this World Cup. The only team they beaten was Pakistan, and the other team was like Zimbabwe. You were supposed to beat Bangladesh. You were supposed to beat, and South Africa you played against. That was the top side. Of course, that is a side that you want to compete with, and that's where you lost. And then you're playing against England. That is a team that you want to compete against or to win against, because they are proper teams. So you lost again. So only one big game you have won against Pakistan. And I want to take you back even in 2019, where people have mentioned that, no, they played brilliant cricket and they lost in the semi-final. But even in that tournament, the only team they beaten was Australia, and the rest of the other teams were like Afghanistan to some other teams, where those are not as big teams as India is. If India wants to rule in terms of winning cups or winning tournaments, they have to show the right intent. They have the players, they have every skill, in the world. But I think on those crunch situations, they don't just play like one. I think that's what is missing. And, today was a lot of errors Arshdeep could have bowled another over. When the ball was swinging, you could have tried to bowl Arshdeep to get the wicket up front. And same goes with Bhuvneshwar Kumar. He was bowling with the keeper up. Once you have a keeper up, your obviously length will become little shorter, and then your ball will not swing as much as you like to swing. For your ball to swing, you have to pitch it up. And if you won't pitch it up, how are you going to get the batsman out? So these are very small and basic sort of things where we made mistake. I think Arshdeep should have bowled at least 2 overs with the new ball. That was the best chance to get Butler or Hales out.
Well, Harbhajan Singh makes a lot of pertinent points. I mean, I was sitting at the ground. I saw that wicketkeeper go up for Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Some people see it as an aggressive move. I look at it as a negative move. That you're scared that the batsman is going to be attacking there. Allow Bhuvneshwar Kumar. That's his strength. Yes.
It was a negative move.
Sorry, Harbhajan. Go ahead.
You can't have your seamer Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who's a swing bowler rather than a fast bowler. If you have a keeper up for him, he would not, pitch the ball up, because he knows that with his pace, if he pitch it up, it is going to go from, where he's starting, the ball will go over the top. So, the best chance was the keeper is back, so he can, he's allowed to bowl little further up to swing. If you don't get the ball to swing, then Bhuvneshwar's pace wasn't going to be a threat to English batsmen. So is Arshdeep. We have seen what he did to other day to Babar. Bringing the ball back in, hitting his pad, LBW. Butler is also LBW candidate. Hales, if you see his record against left-arm seamer, you'll find 15 times he got out to left-arm seamer when ball comes in. But we didn't sort of created those sort of opportunity by not bowling the right bowler at right time. And when it came to spinners, of course, our spinners, they should have looked to spin the ball, which obviously we didn't see the intent. They were looking to spin the ball. I know it's a small boundary on the side, but still, that was your best chance to take wicket, to bring yourself and your team back in the game. But that didn't happen. So that intent overall, I didn't see it. Not in batting, not in bowling, not in any department.
Right, Harbhajan Singh, mincing no words, and that's why we absolutely love him. Speaking from his heart, you were talking about the Indian spinners, Harbhajan, and who better to talk to us about, what went right for them, what went wrong for them. Just observing the game today, when you saw someone like Adil Rashid bowl, you saw that the ball was gripping. You knew that he was going to be dangerous. Clearly, England read the conditions well. They understood what the kind of pitch is going to be on offer. He got to that crucial wicket of a Surya Kumar Yadav. All thing in mind, I couldn't really, make any sense of why Yuzi Chahal wouldn't be played here. In fact, forget this game. Yuzi Chahal, a consistent wicket taker, doesn't play 2 back-to-back T20 World Cups. I'm guessing if he was part of any other international team, I cannot think of many international teams where he wouldn't make the 11 in a T20 game.
Well, if he was, playing for any other team in world cricket, he would have been your first choice, But I don't know why he's not getting picked. I don't know what he's done wrong, and what he said to someone that people don't pick him or don't rate him. World cricket. You talk to any batsman in world cricket, how they will respect Yuzvendra Chahal as a bowler. He's got a phenomenal record, and whenever he plays, he take wickets, he win games, and after doing all that, when it comes to World Cup, Asia Cup, he gets dropped. Why is that? Why the behavior with him is different, and when it comes to the others, when they don't perform, they're still part of the team and they still get to play. But whereas the champion bowler, he continue to perform, he will continue to work hard, but still don't get to play. I don't know what is the agenda behind this, but if I was part of the management, I would have played him from the game one, because leg spinner, you have seen Shadab to all Rashid and everyone, they have performed so well for their respective teams.
Yes. Different strokes for different folks. Clearly, in case of UZ Chahal, and as Harbhajan pointed out, any team would have loved to have had him. In fact, Butler was asked before this game about UZ Chahal because, you know, they play for the same IPL franchise, and he said he's a fantastic bowler. So I'm guessing that players like Joss Butler, players like Alex Hale would have been very happy not to see a UZ Chahal's name on the Indian team sheet. Just looking forward now, Harbhajan, what do you reckon is the future for Indian T20 cricket? Do you think the time is ripe now to look beyond the senior players, invest in youth? And I'm going to talk about all senior players. It could be a Rohit Sharma. Yes, Virat has had a great T20 World Cup. You'll have a Ravichandran, Ashwin, a Bhuvneshwar Kumar, a Mohammad Shami. Do you think now is the time to look at future because the next T20 World Cup is 2 years away? So now start investing in youngsters, or think, no, some of these players can still play the T20 format for India?
No, I think it is the right time to actually think about it. What should be the plan going forward? And it shouldn't be a plan where, you know, it's a 6 months plan. It should be a 6 years plan, or rather 10 years plan, you know, where you want to see your team from here. And, you know, sit back, think about it, and take the right decision. And I think with with all due respect to the all senior players, I think they have played enough number of World Cups, and yes, they have done well. You know, whenever they have got the opportunities. But yes, India is still very far away from winning the World Cup. And yes, T20 format. I think there should be some serious thought about it. That, you know, maybe bringing in the whole new setup. You know, to to see the new face of Indian cricket. Obviously, I think some tough decision will be taken after this, knowing that, you know, that they have not won the World Cup. Expectations were high, and, you know, if you don't change now after 2 years, same Rohit Sharma, same KL Rahul, same Virat Kohli will be 2 years more elder. So I think, you know, it's the right time to take the right calls, and of course everybody will take in right spirit, because they know that, you know, this was about to happen, and I feel this is going to happen too.
A final question, Harbhajan, before we let you go, and this is a twofold question. Going forward, one, who do you see as the captaincy candidate who can take this new setup as you're talking about forward? And in terms of coaching staff in T20, should you even look at a different T20 coaching setup? We see that with teams like England.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier, you know, even while I was talking to you like a couple of hours back, or maybe an hour back or two. We spoke about it. You know, it's not just the captain. Of course, you please see to it. You know, if you know, you can bring someone who just retired T20 cricket and who understand T20 format. You know, of course, with all due respect to Rahul Dravid, he's my colleague. I played a lot of cricket with him. He's a great brain, great guy. But I think if you don't want to remove Rahul from T20 format as a coach, yes, help him with someone who just recently retired. Someone like Ashish Nehra, who's got a great cricketing brain. You know, look what he's done there at Gujarat Titans, you know, as a coach. And, you know, I think there'll be something really good that will encourage a lot of the young guys, of course, that with the new kind of mindset, what Ashish will bring into the team. I'm not saying Ashish. It could be anyone who just retired, who understand this format better than the others.
Yeah.
And of course, my next captain would be Hardik Pandya. There's no other better captain I see than him at present scenario. I think he's your best player candidate for captain, and he's someone, you know, who does every possible thing for the team. And you need more people like him, you know, playing for the team rather than for individuals.
All right, Harbhajan Singh, thanks so much for taking our time, speaking to us and being honest in your assessment of where the Indian team stands right now and what does the future hold for the T20 setup as far as the men in blue is concerned, because a lot needs to change. It's not this one tournament, now two back-to-back T20 World Cups. Your team has been found wanting. Clearly, a major change needs to be made to ensure that you are on the curve, you're with the times, moving ahead, things that England have been doing and how they've had a relook at their white ball cricket, completely changed it, and now they are the current 50-over champions and have also made it to the finals of this T20 World Cup. Harbhajan Singh, thanks so much for joining us.